So I was Apple's first child laborer back in 1978, built Apple II motherboards, and that led to a whole career of studying, loving new things because I fell in love with computers. I was early in computers, grew up in Silicon Valley, and I love the people who build them. And so been interviewing people around the world and writing books and wrote 8 books about the future, interviewed thousands of people, launched Siri in my house, had the first ride with Elon Musk in the first Tesla, was the 79th user of Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
how'd you get into Instagram so early? You just heard about it through like the VC networks or?
No, I was at a startup incubator on a pier in San Francisco interviewing somebody else, and they said, "Oh, you got to check out what these two guys are building." And so they introduced me, and they loaded me up.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and then I
Cool. So,
interviewed them. Yeah,
hell yeah. So you've done a lot in your career. Um,
very much. Yeah, I've launched thousands of companies. I had a famous blog in Silicon Valley for a long time, starting around 2000, where I really had the only place to launch companies. You know, this was before Product Hunt, before TechCrunch, before I was the first one to link to TechCrunch, the first one to link to Product Hunt, the first one to link to TechMeme. So I was, and I wrote a book about social media before Twitter started, and helped write the social media policy at Microsoft because I was a public figure of Microsoft back in 2003 through six. Yeah.
well, with all the stuff that you've done, what's a question that you would that you hope people would ask you more often?
Hmm. Um, that's an interesting one. It's generally they get to the point pretty quick. Yeah, I'm a pretty open book. I mean, Grok knows more about me than I know about myself, or any of the large language models do, really, because I've written 250,000 posts on X.
Well, what gets you going these days? Excuse me.
What's that?
What gets you going these days? Like
Uh,
what interests you? What gets you super passionate?
Robots, brain computer interfaces, autonomous cars. I mean, I spent all week last week at GTC and NVIDIA's GTC.
Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah. So how did that
Yeah.
turn out?
Yeah. So anything new.
Okay,
If you tell me you have something new I haven't seen before, I'm interested generally.
right on. Well,
Yeah.
cool. Let's talk about brain computer interfaces. I mean, I don't know too much about it. I'm still kind of an end user,
Yeah.
or not a user per se, but a
No, there's
fan.
only 22 people who have a Neuralink on, and
Yeah.
you have to be fairly disabled to be considered for one of those at this point. I asked Elon to put one on me, and he said, "No, it's not ready." A few more years. There's a whole range of them coming. I mean, you see Mark Zuckerberg has an armband that listens to electricity going down to your fingers, right? And builds a new kind of user interface. So you just slide your fingers around, or it can tell you you're touching your fingers like this. There's hats coming that can read from your brain, sort of like the current Neuralink. But what we really want is a brain computer interface that can write and read, which
Ooh.
is very freaky for people. I do a lot of consumer research. That might be someplace where most people don't know what I do. You know, I travel around the country. Did a lot of research in my career to understand how people go through paradigm shifts,
Mm.
and how fast they move, why they resist, understand human resistance, understand people who've were early. I like studying early adopters because they're the first to jump over their resistance and try something new. Yeah. Where else would
So
I go with that? Yeah.
what have you found as like a common line for like folks that are early adopters? Because I mean, I could certainly use some more early adopters, and I think a lot of our listeners could use early adopters to their apps and that sort of stuff.
You got to find somebody who gets over their fear and can dream a little bit about what it might mean someday. You know, I mean, even like with the early Macintosh, you know, it was underpowered, or even the Apple II, go all the way back.
Mhm.
It had one app, cost a lot of money, didn't do a whole lot, had a tape drive, didn't have a disk drive, didn't have a hard drive, right? Didn't have internet connection. But the first users could see a new world with that opened up and
Mm.
wanted to be part of it. Yeah, what else? I mean, I have an oven with an NVIDIA card in it. I have one of the early Matic robots. The Insta360 camera company launched in my house, which is a 360 camera. It's hard to see why you'd want that instead of just an iPhone. If you take some time and think about it and dream about it, oh, yeah, that actually might be really useful. And so you have to find somebody who's willing to get over their fears and go, yeah, yeah, put that on my phone. I mean, that's why I became the first Instagram or early Instagram user, right? It's like, hey, yeah, yeah, put that on my phone right now.
Yeah, it's like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right
And let me
on.
try it. Let me try it. And there's, yeah, I mean, I'm studying Waymo customers right now, early autonomous car customers. Why did you get one? How did you find one? You know, how did you get over your fear? Because I know you had the fear. Everybody did. I did the research. Everybody told me I'm never getting in a car that, I like to drive. They still do, right? If you get online and talk about autonomous cars, you'll see. You'll get if you get enough reach, you'll get a whole bunch of people like, that's a stupid idea. I'm never getting in one of those. Why? I like to drive. I'm not.
I'm still apprehensive myself, so I totally get it.
Yeah. And yet, there's thousands of people taking them. I know one guy's taking one to work every day for 3 years now, right?
Hell yeah.
And now he runs an AI startup. So that's a good signal that he's probably an early adopter. In other words, people who build this stuff tend to be more open to, AI driving them around than Joey Bag of Donuts in Kansas or something like that. Yeah, but even Joey Bag of Donuts eventually will get dragged into one and then see, oh shit, that's better than me driving the car. It's safer, it's smoother, and I can look at my phone or I can go to the bar drinking and not have to worry about, getting a DUI or something. So, but how do you find them? I don't, you got to get enough. Put a net out there and see if you get some early bites. And if you have a weird idea, or a weird product that, yeah, like I have a camera on my toilet, and I saw keep putting the net out there, like, hey, who else out there wants to put a camera on their toilet? Here's what it does. Here's how it could save your life if you do it. And
Oh,
there's a few, but
what's
it's a
the use
hard.
case?
Uh, my best friend died at the age of 40 from colon cancer, and so when I saw this particular company, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Because it could save people's lives. It can sense you have a cancer before the doctors pick it up or before there's a symptom, right?
Oh wow. Well, my condolences,
Yeah.
but sounds like promising tech.
Yeah. It's yeah. If it saves some lives, that's good stuff, right? But
Yeah.
it's a freaky, what? You're gonna put an AI camera on my
Yeah.
toilet looking at my shit? What? Right? So that's an early product that is a little freaky and has resistance. First thing you hear about it is like, I'd never do. I'm not. My wife even said, What are you putting a camera on our toilet?" And I had to sell her, right? So, and she knew about Brandon because she was good friends with him too, so she understood the pitch.
Mhm.
Where normal people who haven't lost somebody to colon cancer, they have to be talked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm sure she's used to you as an early adopter being very familiar with, you being like, "Hey babe, check this out." Like
Oh yeah.
this is
We
the
had
new
a
product.
Tesla for 8 years. It took her six to even try FSD, right? Because it was really shitty for until about a year ago, a year and a
Okay.
half ago. And now she's a big fan of FSD. She tells all of her friends, "Oh man, you should get a Tesla. It's so much nicer than driving yourself around." But it took her a year. Even before that, we had a Toyota for 10 years with
Mhm.
advanced technology, new kinds of sensors on it. She never used it.
Hmm.
She just didn't like it. So it took her years to change.
Yeah. And I suppose that's most of us.
Yeah.
Not what am I trying to say here? Excuse me. I guess I'm trying to compliment you and say that it's awesome that you're such a prolific early adopter of things. it's cool that you're networked in, and
It's how I got to write 8 books about the future, about decade-long change. So, that's a skill of mine or an obsession.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
So,
there's
tell me about what you're doing. Because I don't know anything about you.
yeah, sure.
Figuring
So
me out is pretty easy. You can go to Grok and ask any damn question. It knows everything I've done, everything for the last 20 years. I'm a public figure, right? So could tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about me. Yeah.
yeah, so I've just been working on builders.to recently. It's just a small social network. People have described it as like a Facebook for business, basically. But it's basically just builders, founders, entrepreneurs, and that sort of stuff. Just launched back in November. We've got like 40,000 page views, and we've got about I think five pro members. I'll have to double check the admin panel, but
They're just getting started. Small,
yes, very,
small.
very early stages.
Yeah. And what are your early adopter? What kind of companies did they building? Are they building?
Yeah, so quite a few, like Strategic Style Co., for example. Megs, she's building a lifestyle business. Looks like Ronald is focused on his WordPress business. And then a couple of other folks have like their own advertising agencies or like dev shops, and they're trying to promote that as well.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
Smaller businesses than I usually hang out with, but yeah, I tend to look for people who are building tech products, AI centric tech products, and some of these people go to billionaire status real quick.
right on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a short climb. I'm planning on doing this until the date of 2050. That's about when I retire. And I like to do it, ideally longer than that. But my goal is to get it a million users by 2050.
yeah. And why did you build this? Why can't you do this on X or on LinkedIn or whatever?
Well, you definitely could, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to have like a decent display page where you can like pin multiple things. So if you're comparing it to X, for example, then I suppose some of the benefits would be you can pin multiple things, you can pin other people's posts. So that's kind of beneficial from like I guess, Facebook comparison standpoint. It's more of a tighter network, I would say, than what you're getting with just like general business owners kind of all around the world.
Yeah,
This is more SaaS focused and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Still trying to figure stuff out, as you can tell by the language that I'm using, where I'm just like,
yeah.
shooting from my hip on this one. But yeah, I'm having a good
Yeah,
time with it.
social networks are hard to get going. They get the network effect and get them going. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what I would do if I was trying to build a social network at this point. I know what I would have done 20 years ago, but not.
Yeah, what I'm doing right now is basically just funneling traffic from Reddit and X into it and trying to reach that critical mass, as you mentioned, to kind of get
Yeah.
things off the ground.
Yeah. The reason I don't I mean, I'm watching that. You should see my X. I have X Pro running with all my lists and it's moving. There's a new tweet, right? So people are posting, and there's so much to see and do, and right that considering a move to somewhere else is I I can't do it.
Yeah, well,
I've
you're an early
invested
adopter.
19.
You're
Well,
like,
I've invested 19 years of my life here too. So getting me to take a few minutes away from X and go somewhere else is very hard.
yeah, I've been finding that. It's kind of like a 10% conversion rate, just kind of like down the funnel, for what I've noticed from, top of funnel to signups to pro members. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do a lot of networking over the years.
yeah. With social networks, when there is a paradigm shift, like we're going to move into 3D computing. So when we go through that, there'll be an opening for a new social network, but it has to be all in 3D, right, to support the new paradigm. And that's when you're going to see one or two or three new ones pop up that are in the glasses or in the 3D environment. And even that's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of things to do in 3D. But, playing games with friends in glasses is coming. But I've noticed that every time there's a paradigm shift, so new social networks show up. I mean, I've been doing online communities since the BBS days. And obviously, we're not all on BBSs anymore, right? Because we moved when dial-up came, we moved to AOL and Prodigy, and then when internet came, we moved to CompuServe, and then when the web came, we started moving to web-based approaches. Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all that.
Yeah, I'm
And
super excited for the paradigm shift, to be honest, because I think in
yeah,
images and I, definitely talk with my hands. So I would love to be able to just make gestures and, I'm ready for Minority Report.
yeah, no, that's certainly coming, and brain computer interface are coming, robots are coming. So that does your robot have a social network? Probably, right? OpenClock had a social network that popped up called Moltbook, and that got bought by Meta, right? Already,
Yeah.
just a few months, maybe to take a potential competitor off the table, or buy, something that could be hot and part of something else. But that's an example. A new thing comes along, it causes shifts. Um, if you're rich, it's easier because then you can make it cool, really fast, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
you
like
got you
throw.
got Threads, who's started by Zuckerberg, and you got Bluesky and Mastodon, which are nichey and haven't really hit stride. The
Mm,
CEO of Bluesky already is out, right? New person's in because that just hasn't gone that well yet, and it's not very profitable. That's the other thing. If you do get hot, how do you pay for your servers? How do you pay
yeah.
for your AWS bills, right? It's like, because if you are going exponential and people are sticking around and liking what it is and they start spreading it, then you're in a scaling problem, and then you have to be able to raise money. Well, raising money requires you to show profits,
Yeah.
i.e. revenues. Do you have an advertising stream supporting it, or do you have people paying $20 a month, right? And that's the catch 22. I've seen a few, even at Google. Remember Google Meet? uh,
Yeah. And like Google Circles.
Google Circles, Google Plus, I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they couldn't get enough servers to really go at it, and then they just didn't believe in it that deeply. And Zuckerberg made some changes and sort of cut their oxygen off. And yeah, it's just really hard. Social media is really hard to make it for a number of reasons. Either you're not getting hot, or you're not going exponential, like you're in that boat. And
Mm.
then if you go exponential, you can't pay for your servers, and all of a sudden you're in a cash crunch.
Yeah. Well, how I tried to solve for that is I implemented tiered payment systems and put in like some tooling for premium users and users that need more like hand holding and just like coaching and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
they pay for
With a
premium
small
access.
audience, you can do a lot of custom things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you ever do start going white hot, and you have thousands and tens of thousands of people show up, then you're in a different problem. You can't
Yeah,
keep.
very true.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it happen so many times. It'll probably
Not
crash and
I've
burn,
seen I've
but
seen it happen in history. It doesn't happen that much. I've been watching social media for 20 something. Oh, it's really since 84 when my friend had a BBS.
oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, if you're comfortable with it, tell me a little bit more about the early days, just in tech and compute. I didn't really get into the scene until 98, I would say, and I was still, fairly young at that point in time.
Yeah. What was going on in 98? Let's see. Oh, yeah. 98's when Google started, wasn't it?
Oh, word.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, before Google, there was Alta Vista, there was CompuServe as online social kind of thing. Alta Vista was the search engine. I ran a website for ICQ. Did you ever use ICQ?
No, I used IRC back in the day, but not ICQ.
Uh, ICQ came out November 1st, 1996 to 40 people. And by the end of the year, they had 250,000 people. So
Damn.
it was the fastest growing social system of the day. And a year later, it sold to AOL for 400 something $1 million and had a billion users. Um, hold on a second. Hey, what's up? Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, okay, cool. I'm finishing up with somebody and then I'll be over. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. See you. Sorry, my friend just had knee surgery and I'm picking him up from the airport, from the hospital.
Oh,
So,
that's nice, dude.
ICQ, yeah, I had the number one website that covered ICQ back in the day because I was early even back then. And on Alta Vista, when you search for ICQ or for Microsoft Net Meeting, I also had a Microsoft Net Meeting site because they were combined. They both worked together.
Mhm.
You would see my site and you would see a porn site, and then you would see Brian Sullivan's site. He had the second largest, right? And on Google, my site and Brian Sullivan's site, no porn. How do you get rid of the porn? Oh, because we use a different algorithm than AltaVista uses. We don't look at the metadata on the page, under the data underneath the page. We look at the links that you all are making, and you have the most links for that term, so you're number one, right? That's page
Yeah,
rank.
the
That's
backrub
right, Google.
algorithm, right?
Yeah, and so yeah, before that, yeah. So but yeah, I mean it, all my life it started out with an Apple II with a tape drive, no internet, and you got a floppy drive, and a year later, a couple of years later, you get a disk drive, right? A few years later, you get a modem. A few years after that, you get a faster modem. A few years after that, you start getting internet lines, right, for people. And
Mhm.
so as the computing platform gets more mature or more powerful, more transistors, faster, it opens up new capabilities and it draws more people in because it now the early days, most people look at Apple II and like, hey, what does it do? Yeah, I have a recipe app on mine. Oh, what? Anything else? No. But a few years later, spreadsheet comes along. Oh, now we have spreadsheets. We can run your business, right? Oh, well, that's interesting. Let me see that. Let me try that. And then all of a sudden they're buying an Apple II that runs a spreadsheet, right? And that's true even today, right? With Apple Vision Pro, it doesn't do a whole lot, but every few months something new comes along and more people get excited, right? And uh, as it gets more capable and cheaper, draws more people in. I mean, when Photoshop 1.0 came out in 89, somewhere around there, 88, Steve Wozniak bought a color printer, cost $45,000 for a
Oh, damn.
color printer, right? And he bought a 400 megabyte RAM drive, which also cost $45,000. So he spent $90,000 to run Photoshop. Well, now your phone has way more RAM. Mine has a terabyte of RAM in it, right? And my a $79 printer is way better and way better, right?
Yeah.
So that as the cost comes down, it
Yeah, more massive.
grows the market for it, right? More people can afford it. It gets better, faster, more easier to use. More people join. Same thing's going to happen with autonomous cars, right? That right now they're a little bit expensive. They're only in nerdy places. As they spread around the world and the cost comes down, because the cost will come down because there's no human in the car, it's cheaper to run them, then more and more people will use them and get dragged into them and want to go on date night in one, right? Or something like that. So, and then all of a sudden the market will get bigger. And that's a pattern that happens in everything, right?
Yeah. I'd love to be able to continue the conversation at some point in time,
Mm-hmm.
and just maybe talk about how to capture areas of that market because I mean that's the trick, right? Is to be able to capture that value as opposed to
when a new platform comes along, like Uber was invented right in front of me in a Paris snowstorm by Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp. It was right after the iPhone came out, and we were all
Mhm.
staring at our iPhones stuck in a Paris snowstorm, going, "Hey, how can we see where the cars are on our phones?" We had new phone. We were hungry for a new thing, and a couple months later, they started up Uber, and so you can order a luxury car on your phone now, and now it's worldwide and it's a big company. But it was the new platform that had the affordance for a new thing. Only two companies survived, right? Lyft and Uber. They both happened within 6 months of each other. A market window opened up because of the new platform, and you jump in at that time and you work your ass off to get as many users as absolutely possible, and then you can maybe be in play. And it's tough. I mean, there was an Instagram before Instagram. A friend of mine had one. Chase Jarvis had a photo sharing app, but his developer team quit on him right before Instagram came out and sort of
Mm.
doomed him because he couldn't react to it. He couldn't improve it. He couldn't chase the market. And the market window was open and he missed it and it closed. And
Gotcha.
same thing is going to happen in glasses next year. Watch when people get the glasses at the end of the year, all of a sudden we're going to be like looking around. What do we do with these? Is there a new shopping app, a new kind of game, a new kind of navigation system, a new kind of note taking app, whatever?
Mhm.
We'll be hungry. We'll be trying things. It won't last long because we'll fill them up and then we'll be like, ah, fuck it. I don't want to try anything else anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, cool. Well, then I will definitely make sure to consistently keep following you and just kind of keep updates on like as that technology is evolving, as you release updates on that. I'm also plugged in with a couple of different like open source glasses developers that I'm kind of excited about to see how it turns out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, would love to share that information with you on the
You
back end.
got the Mentras.
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Me too.
right on.
I, I wrote two books about spatial computing, which is what that is. I'm highly interested in that field, and Google's going to be the one that's going to be interesting coming somewhere around October.
Okay, cool.
And then let's be honest, Apple has all the advantages. They have Formula One. You
Yeah.
want to watch Formula One in your glasses? You got to buy the Apple ones. And a lot of people around the world watch Formula One, and they tend to be richer than normal Joey Bag of Donuts in Kansas who watches NASCAR, maybe.
True, true.
And
Right
even
on, man.
NASCAR is probably going to be on the Apple ones. Because the Formula One will get all the customer, all the rich people buying the Apple one. Well, NASCAR wants rich people watching their thing too, so they'll all put an app on the Apple one,
Yeah,
right?
and then whoever gets the hook in with like Disney will be good to go.
Yep,
That
yep,
product catalog is just
yep,
crazy big.
yep. Get some Star Wars video games in your Apple glasses or whatever.
Hell yeah, man. I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah,
All right. Well, it was a pleasure. I know you got to go. You're going to
yeah.
help your friend out. So thank you so much for your time.
I
Where
appreciate it.
can people follow you? Is there anything you want to pitch before we go?
I'm I mean, I'm all over the place, but it really X is where I spend 99% of my day.
Cool.
I'm that Scobleizer, so SCOB as in boy, Leizer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Robert. I hope you have a
Cool.
great night and
Yeah,
great
thanks
talking to
for
you.